Y'all, the college football playoffs are here, and I'm not gonna lie, this has been one of my favorite college football seasons. I feel like anybody could have won. I feel like there was a lot of upsets. This was one of my favorite seasons. Now, the college football playoff committee had a hard job selecting 12 teams. Of course, we went from 4 teams to now we got 12 teams, which I think makes it great. The more teams, the better. Well, I guess it can get a little too crazy. When I think about March Madness, you got 68 teams. You imagine 68 college football teams like in the playoffs. That'd be crazy. Anyway, but they had to select the 12, and of course, some of your conference winners got the automatic bid. So like the SEC, the Big Ten, your ACC, and the Big 12, they got an automatic bid and a bye. But there were some teams who were on the bubble who it was kind of iffy if they were gonna make it. But let's look at the 12 teams that the committee selected. So up first, of course, we got Oregon. I feel like Oregon was probably one of the most, probably the quietest number one seed. I feel like no one talked about them. I feel like all they did was win. They had a close game against Ohio State, but they were number one just throughout the entire season. I feel like they were great. Dillon Gabriel, Heisman candidate. Like, they're just a great team. Then you got number two, you got Georgia. Georgia had an okay season, not the typical season that Georgia expected. So Georgia had a tough loss to Alabama, and then of course they lost to Ole Miss, and so that was pretty tough. And then you got Boise State at number three. They're in the Mountain West, but they played Oregon and they lost 37-34, close game. They got Ashton Jeanty. Like, they're a great team. I'm just curious like what they would look like in just a stronger conference. So you got Boise State at number three. You got Arizona State winning the Big 12, their first year in the Big 12. Of course, the Pac-10 or Pac-12, I don't know what it was. It dissolves, and then Oregon goes and wins the Big 10. But then you got Arizona State coming in and winning the Big 12 championship. You got Texas at number five. I thought Texas was going to win against Georgia, but Texas at number five, they had bad, I guess their bad losses were against Georgia. So losing in the regular season and then losing in the SEC championship. You got Penn State in the Big Ten at number six. You got Notre Dame at number seven. Notre Dame had a tough loss at the earlier in the year. I think it was Northern Illinois, somebody like that. But they turned it around. I don't know. They play a weird schedule. I don't know if they're still considered independent. But you got Notre Dame, you got Ohio State. We're gonna get on Ohio State in this next video. We got Ohio State at number 8. You got Tennessee at number 9. You got Indiana at number 10. SMU at number 11, and then sneaking in, you got Clemson at number 12. I did not think Clemson was going to get in. So, of course, the first 4 seeds, they receive a bye. Now, here go some teams that missed out that were so close. If they would just did what they needed to do, they would have made it, and they left it in the hands of the selection committee. And so you got Alabama. It's so weird, Alabama not being in the college football playoffs. Of course, it's the first year without Nick Saban. It's just a different team. I ain't gonna lie, like, it's not they're Alabama, but it ain't the same Alabama. So you got Alabama, then you got Miami. I feel like Miami, they found ways to not make the playoffs. If they would have just did, it sounds simple, do what you're supposed to do and you make the playoffs. That's all you gotta do. You got Cam Ward, Heisman candidate. Like, they just didn't play well in the games that mattered. And so I thought they were going to make it. And you got Ole Miss. Ole Miss had tough loss. That loss to Kentucky really hurt them. And I thought Ole Miss had a great chance to make the college football playoffs. And of course, last one, South Carolina. South Carolina didn't start the year off the best, but I feel like they turned it on towards the end of the year. They would have just won a couple games, like probably one more game, they make the playoffs. And so those were teams that were on the bubble. Now here goes here goes the matchups. Let's go over the matchups. Round 1, we got Indiana versus Notre Dame. We got SMU versus Penn State. And then we got Clemson versus Texas, and Tennessee versus Ohio State. Now, I'm be honest, my favorite matchup is definitely this Tennessee versus Ohio State. I think Tennessee has a good chance to win. I think Ohio State has a lot to prove. Coming off that Michigan loss, man, they like Ryan Day. I'm not gonna say that of course I'm not an Ohio State fan, but I'm not Team Fire or Ryan Day. But if they don't win against Tennessee, that's gonna be rough. And so I'm excited about that matchup. Here goes my predictions for round 1, and then in this next video we'll kind of start breaking down each individual matchups. So round 1, we got Indiana, the first game, Indiana versus Notre Dame. This is like the battle of Indiana. I got Notre Dame winning. I've never rooted. Nope. I've never rooted for Notre Dame before. I got them winning, and I'll explain why. This is just first impression, like just good pick. I'm going Notre Dame. SMU versus Penn State. I'm going Penn State. Clemson versus Texas. Got Texas, and then Tennessee, Ohio State. We said them already. You know what? I'm going 10. It's in Ohio, at Ohio State. I'm gonna go SEC. Okay, I'm an LSU fan, so SEC bias. Picking Tennessee. So those are the first round matchups. It's gonna be a great college football playoffs. Comment down below. Who do y'all have going all the way? What are some matchups you're excited about? Do you feel like Alabama should have made it? Do you feel like your team should have made it? Maybe you're an Alabama fan, maybe you're Ole Miss fan, or Miami Hurricanes, whatever team. Do you feel like you should have made the college football playoffs? And did the committee get it right? Thank y'all so much for watching. Tune in for this next video where we break down just who I think is going to win and the why. So y'all have a great day.